Welcome everyone to downtown Utica. It's a blustery day here in Metro Detroit. Hope the rain stays away. Forecast looks pretty decent compared to what it did yesterday when we have the visiting Utica Unicorns and the home Westside Woolly Mammoths here today. Jeremy Otto alongside Nick Matthews to bring you the call here today in what is technically game 2 of the day. Most of you probably don't know that we did play a game earlier, kind of non-public but public at the same time. A kids' day, upwards of 500 smaller kids were in attendance here today, so a cool moment for them as they saw a 9-4 Mammoths win.
That's right. The Mammoths have been on a little bit of a down losing streak, but it was a great win for them here in the first game of the day. And this what is a weird weekday doubleheader. But yeah, the Unicorns and the Mammoths facing off here again tonight for this doubleheader.
It's also Randy Dominic bobblehead day. And when you look at that thing, you know, you look at bobbleheads and you're like, it doesn't really look like him. It does. It's got the whole mustache. It's got the facial features. I think it looks pretty good,
I think so. It's got the good old boy mustache. You don't really see that out nowadays, but I love what they've done with him, and he looks really good. He looks stellar today.
Well, another potentially good matchup here today. In the earlier game, it was all about the offense for the Mammoths, scoring 9 runs and a big home run to right center field, kind of carrying to that wind as well by Trent Bauer, his first of the year. But this could be all about the pitching here in game 2.
Absolutely. Greg Luukkonen on the mound for the Mammoths and Jordan Carr for the Unicorns. Both these two pitchers are absolute lights out. These guys can get the job done, keep people off the base path, and their stats show it. It's impeccable. These two pitchers are absolutely stars for both of their teams.
Two guys that, when you look at the wind here today, you think hitter, right? But the hitters may be thinking otherwise now as they see these two guys on the mound.
That's right. It's a 50-50 shot. It could go one way, absolutely, with the wind in the factor here in Utica. But also these two pitchers have been just absolute dominant on these opposing batters, leaving them with less than sub-1 batting averages. And it's absolute, incredible to watch these two pitchers perform because it is it's poetry on the mound. I love it.
And if there's one guy that has a pretty good shot no matter who's out there, he's really shown that in his last 10 games. So Lamar Briggs has turned it on. We've seen 4 home runs. We saw obviously his all-star selection really found it at the plate and driving the ball.
He's absolutely been stellar at the dish. Lamar Briggs' has been booming. He's hitting .354. The guy also has 4 homers and 9 RBIs on the first half of the season. He is the heart of this lineup, this Mammoth order, and he's going to be a big factor in today's game.
Quietly really becoming one of the better hitters in the USPBL. More on that later on the broadcast as well. Time to take a peek at our starting lineups, brought to you by AAA of Michigan here today. First for the visiting Utica Unicorns, they'll send Frankie Luska back atop the leadoff spot for them. He'll catch once again. Noah Childress bats second and plays first. It's Galassi, Colby Johnson, and Anthony Jones in the heart of Jim Essian's lineup here today. Nick Olch, the newcomer, 2 for 6 to start his USPBL career, hitting 6th in the designated hitter spot. Donovan Curiel back out there at shortstop, hitting 7th. And then Blaze and Hodo, 2 guys that have in the past certainly been that double play combination. Today they'll play 3rd and 2nd base, respectively. For the home Westside Woolly Mammoths, here's what they run out there. Another hot hitter in Norberto Navarro, really rising his average as the year goes on, up to 280 now. Leads off and plays second. Colton Horner bats second and DHs. Briggs, Bauer, and Herring, 3-4-5 in the lineup. Guzman back out there at shortstop, playing position 6 and hitting 6 again.
You guys hear me?
Jalen Smith, Nick Caruso, and Trevor Kinley rounding things out. We'll have Nick's keys to the game when we get back here on the USPBL Network. That and more coming up next. Don't go anywhere.
Throughout your life, from big moments to ones well-earned, we're your financial guardian angel. Alliance Catholic Credit Union.
Your neighbors are going to be jealous when they see you're getting a new Connecticut water system. Say goodbye to hard water problems. No more spots on your glassware. Your laundry will feel and smell better. Your hair and skin will look and feel better. Say goodbye to hard water problems and say hello to great tasting crystal clear water with CGC Water.
USPBL Baseball, powered by UWM, is brought to you by AAA. Ascension, Balfour Property Restoration, Budweiser, DTE Energy, Fifth Third Bank, Jimmy John's, Macomb Community College, McLaren Macomb, your Metro Detroit Chevy dealers, Pepsi, Scott's, and UWM. We thank all those fine partners for what they do for this fine league as well. Getting ready for first pitch. Take a look at your team comparison here today between the Mammoths and the Unicorns. Unicorns still on top of the league. Mammoths really charging from behind at 8-8. A win here today could do a lot of good overall. You see the batting average there and the stolen bases numbers heavily in favor of the Westside Woolly Mammoths. First pitch is next. You're on the USPBL Network. Stick with us.
Your neighbors are going to be jealous when they see you're getting a new Connecticut water system. Say goodbye to hard water problems. No more spots on your glassware. Your laundry will feel and smell better. Your hair and skin will look and feel better. Say goodbye to hard water problems and say hello to great tasting crystal clear water with CGC Water.
Jeremy and Nick back with you here from Jimmy John's Field. We see a few ponchos here today, maybe a light spitting going on at most here at Jimmy John's Field. We hope to keep everything else away. Taking a peek at the radar, looks pretty good. Past 8 and into 9, so hopefully we can get this thing in today clean. If you are not in the Metro Detroit area, it is still very sticky, still very muggy. So as you know, kind of anything can happen with this weather, but you know, most of the time with that, it's usually just the pop-up stuff. Might be heavy, might be quick, but hopefully we don't see any of that here today because we have a really good pitching matchup, which could benefit our pace of play in a number of ways here today. Greg Lokinen is on right now as he'll face off against Jordan Carr. We talked about them a little bit in the pregame show, but it's fun to watch these kind of pitching rivalries, if you will, build. And sometimes we've even seen, you know, switching of matchups up based off, you know, are they playing the same team over and over again? We've seen that a little bit different here. Not too often we start the week off with the Mammoths, but there's going to be a lot of Mammoths and there's going to be a lot of Unicorns this week. They did play that game earlier, and between the two, 8 games for each for these two teams. So a bit challenging, given that that's really not how this league is set up most of the time. Let's check the defense here behind Greg Loken, and brought to you by AAA of Michigan. It's Trent Bauer in left, Lamar Briggs in center, Trevor McKinley in right, Jalen Smith at third base, Adrian Guzman and Norberto Navarro up the middle, Logan Herring over at first base, and Nick Caruso again completing the battery here tonight. That wind still blowing strongly out to right center field. Pre-game before the second game, I think it was even blowing a bit more, but still a hefty wind, as you can see out there.
A clear day turns to a little cloudy at the start of this game here in downtown Utica, and Lokenen's ready to go, and so are we.
Frankie Luska, Noah Childress, and Drew Galassi, your Zach Hart Agency 3-men do up here in the first inning. First pitch to Luska is in for strike one, the fastball at 87.
Some keys to each of these teams today. For the Unicorns, they need to have, or at least continue to slug the ball. Here's a slugged one right back up the middle.
Navarro going to play it. Can't get to it, though, as Luska will reach.
And here's one of the keys of the game right here. Keep getting people on base, keep slugging the ball, and keeping the pressure on the Mammoth pitchers, and keep that momentum going forward on their offense. And on the opposition for the Mammoths, they need to have short innings, keep Drew Galassi off the base path, and minimize how many runners they have throughout this entire game to, help their pitchers capitalize and help their offense produce some runs for them.
A little bit of a different look to this offense here today, and Jim Essien does this in back-to-back games. As this was also the same look he came out with in the game earlier that nobody really saw publicly except the 500 kids literally in attendance. Noah Childress batting second, Luska back to the leadoff spot, and Drew Galassi leading off as Lokenen pulls the string on the curveball that goes down into Childress. 0-1.
Childress, one of those batters that can actually make something out of nothing, and he's proven himself to be utilized in many different ways. He definitely has some power, hitting 4 home runs, and he also can drive in runs and play the small ball when needed.
Skipping in, going to allow Luska to gallop to second base easily here.
Certainly not what you wanted being Luukkonen. Got to be able to hit the strike zone and command the opposition. Short innings were going to get you out of this game very quick and give your team the biggest opportunity to win the game.
One and two here on Childress. Big pitch as it sails. Another curveball there. Rides high and away from Caruso. Don't often see that. 2 pitches in a row from a guy that's located so well, has commanded the strike zone so well. His walk to strikeout ratio is off the chain. 5 walks, 37 strikeouts. That equals 18.5 strikeouts per 9 and just 2.5 walks per 9.
Certainly doesn't let up too many base runners. This is a guy that commands the strike zone, commands the field, and this is kind of a strange start for Lokenen.
And maybe it has something to do with this slight drizzle we're seeing that has picked up a little bit. I think you can even tell on the monitor. Again, it's not a heavy rain or anything. Just saw a fan reach up and try to feel it. It's not anything that substantial. Nobody is scattered free as Childress will draw just the 9th walk of the year against Lokenen here. Now Drew Galassi has a chance to do some damage once again. And on the surface, maybe you say he's struggling, but I think that's just because we hold him to such a high standard to what he's done so far. Still has a .364 average, .836 slugging, and still is 5 for his last 14. All-Star game does not count in these players' final stats, so we will ignore them, except, if we're talking about good performances, certainly on the pitching side was mostly the case, but 5 for 14 isn't all that bad.
It's certainly not. It's very very good. The guy just needs to continue to groove with his team, with getting opportunities to put people in scoring position when he has the chance, and when he sees a pitch he likes, he takes it for a ride. He's hit 8 homers and leads the league in it, and leads the league in RBIs as well.
21 RBIs. Ahead in the count, 2-0. This is a dangerous spot. Looks at a curveball outside, 3-0 now on Drew Galassi.
In fact, he actually leads his team in most batting categories.
Yeah, him and Lamar Briggs right up there league-wide. 3-0, little flare. Smith getting over quickly on that one, able to snare it for the first out here in the first inning.
And that's exactly what Lokinen needed there. He lucked out getting around Galassi there with runners on the corners and not allowing a run there.
So here's Colby Johnson now, 3 for 21 start for Colby. He's driven in a pair of runs, has 3 walks compared to 2 strikeouts thus far. And despite what Lokinen has done in terms of the strikeouts, he's very much a candidate to draw a double play here. 41% of the balls put in play against Greg have been ground balls, which is pretty substantial. That's right up there as a ground ball pitcher. Maybe some of that has to do that his fastball isn't reaching up to the, lower 90s, which some of the best fastballs are in the league. 1-0 is golfed. High hop for Guzman. Feeds to second in time over to first. Not quite. It allows Frankie Luska to score, and it's 1-0 Unicorns here in the first.
Those were some fast hands by Guzman. That was a very tough play to get on a backhanded ground ball. Be able to flip it over to second, still be able to get the lead runner over there. It's an impressive play from Guzman.
That charity hop certainly helped him out, but you cannot question his ability on any ground ball, even if it looks like one you give up on. You got to watch the play until it's literally over. This one off the glove of Caruso. Is Johnson able to swipe a bag? We talked about the ability for this Mammoths team to steal. Now 19 for 20 on the year. No, that's not a misprint. That's what a lot of the teams have been at. Really good stolen base numbers all across the board. Now the 1-0. Piped in for strike one. In fact, the Unicorns have one of the lowest totals coming into play here today.
Some of the stolen base leaders in the league are Greg Vaughn Jr., Jason Aponte, Trey Bigford, all with 5 apiece.
1-1 slices in. Two and 1 on Anthony Jones here. 0 for 3 in the game earlier. Swing and a miss at the 86-mile-an-hour fastball. We're happy to be back on Facebook here today, something we have not been able to say in a week and a half or so, so Facebook and YouTube. If you enjoy watching us on Facebook, you can shift on back there. Here's the 2-2. Clubbed on the ground, into the glove of Smith, to his feet, over to first. Just can't get the dazzling play as Herring misses the pick. Scrambling his way to second and all the way to third base is Anthony Jones. He slides in safely. That foul territory comes to bite the Mammoths here in the first, and now it's 2-0.
Looks like that one's probably going to be ruled an E5. Run scores, unearned run.
Certainly a tough one for Smith. He dove, got back to his feet, chucked it over to first base, but couldn't elevate it for Logan Herring over there as Nick Olch looks at strike one. Luukkonen came into play today with 3 runs given up in total in 18 innings, all of them earned. Olch hitting 6th for Jim Essian's team here today. Fastball outside. Luukkonen's last game of the All-Star game on Saturday through 2 innings. Allowed just 2 hits, no runs, no walks, and 3 strikeouts. 40 innings, or 40 pitches of work. So certainly lower than normal, given that he's being stretched out to pretty much a starter now. What he did out of the bullpen and some long outings. He had a 5-inning relief appearance as his kind of last go-around with the bullpen, but it certainly earned this opportunity with the Mammoths here today and beyond. 3-1 away.
From what he's shown being a relief in the beginning, he certainly deserved to be a starting pitcher. Now he's going to get a quick talk from Nick Caruso, trying to just catch his breath, take a breather, and just find himself. Now he's got runners on the corners once more. Try to get out of this, minimize as much damage as possible.
Greg did start a decent amount in college in his last 2 years at Georgia Gwinnett, top-tier NAI school in the South. 36 appearances, 26 of them being starts. Curiel takes a big hack at that first pitch fastball from Luukkonen. He's already the 7th man to bat in this inning. 2-0 Unicorns, as this one's popped up in the center of the diamond. Luukkonen wants it, then thinks that possibly Caruso is going to take it, and finally says, yes, I will take it. And he cracks a smile as a rare pitcher's pop-up goes into his hands for the 3rd out. So kind of an unorthodox way to 2 runs in this inning, but in the end it works out as the Unicorns have a much-needed 2-0 lead. Time to take a look at your thrifty florist sweethearts of the game here today. And that's actually Ann Dobnak, Randy Dobnak's mother down there. Of course, on Randy Dobnak bobblehead day here today. His father is also in the Mammoths dugout. More on that when we get back on the USPBL Network.
Times are tough right now. It feels like the bottom of the 9th and we're down by 2. But we've seen tough times before. And just like baseball has always been more than just a game, Chief Financial Credit Union is more than money. So it might be the bottom of the 9th, but we're the home team, and we've got runners on base. Batter up, America. It's time to play ball.
I'm all in with HR and Organizational Development Council.
I'm all in with Marketing and Business Development Council.
I'm all in with Operations and Member Experience Council.
I'm all in with CEO Council.
I'm all in with Lending Council.
I'm all in with CFO Council.
I'm all in with Technology Council.
Our credit union is all in with CUNA Councils.
They call me Prospects. Since the day I was born as a diver's watch, the challengers of the world have taught me many things. Life is not a numbers game. It's about challenging ourselves. No matter what happens, just follow your heart. These pioneers drive our generation forward, not by setting records, but by never giving up. Keep going forward. Prospects.
Available at Lucido Fine Jewelry.
Well, an inning that just saw 1 hit and one error has 2 runs on the board for the Utica Unicorns after they lost 9-4 in game 1. They did collect 6 hits, obviously, in 4 runs, so not too bad overall from where these offenses have normally been, but this Mammoths offense kind of unleashed, and it's something you could see a little bit more if these hitters keep on clicking. Jordan Carr doesn't allow for much commentary in between pitches. As
he works
takes a rip
fast.
at that one.
Yeah, he works pretty quick.
Jordan Carr with the fastball, the curveball, the slider, and the changeup as well. Changeup is used least out of that as the sun glares out. Navarro swings and misses at it.
You'll be seeing that quite a bit off and on, rain, and then the sun will peek its head out and say, hey, I'm here.
A rainbow probably at some point. They're usually in right center field. Outside, 2-2 on Navarro. So glad you could tune into the first game of the week, Thursday through Sunday rotation. 2-2 again, looped foul. Next week we'll start our 2 Wednesdays through Sundays of July. So 2 of those in a row. And then we're to August already. Can you believe it?
It's hard to believe already. We're in the second half of the season. Season's going by pretty quick. And soon, before you know it, playoffs will be here.
Be interesting to see who stacks out as the top seed. Unicorns buying for that again as Navarro swings through it. Good job by Carr to set down a pretty hot hitter.
Yeah, Navarro has been pretty rolling lately. It's hitting 282, and he's been a great leadoff hitter for this Mammoths club.
Colton Horner trying to get it going as well. Off to a 7-for-24 start. Was out for a few weeks with that hamstring injury, but good to see him back in the fold, giving the Mammoths another catcher.
Nick Caruso behind the dish today for the Mammoths, a hometown kid. Gets a lot of applause every time he comes up to the plate.
Yeah, went to high school not too far away from here, De La Salle and Warren, off a common road. 0-2 quickly on Colton Horner. Carr looking to snatch that ball and throw it. Here's the 0-2 in there for strike 3. Back-to-back Ks for Carr. He's been the stronger of the 2 in this pitcher's duel so far tonight.
That was a nasty pitch he threw just now. Got Horner second-guessing it and couldn't pull the trigger.
Carr also threw in the All-Star game. Threw 2 innings himself, just allowed 1 hit. No runs, no walks, and a strikeout. An efficient 22-pitch, 2 innings of work. Here's another hot hitter, Lamar Briggs. Watches the slicing fastball dive in, 1-0. Both of these guys kind of talked to me before the game about wanting to get that fastball up through their mechanics in terms of the velo. Hodo in between hop. Easy play in the end for him, and he's able to complete what is a 1-2-3 inning. How about it? Strikeout, strikeout, ground out. Carr making it look easy here tonight.
I'm all in with HR and Organizational Development Council.
I'm all in with Marketing and Business Development Council.
I'm all in with Operations and Member Experience Council.
I'm all in with CEO Council.
I'm all in with Lending Council. I'm all in with CFO Council.
I'm all in with Technology Council.
Our credit union is all in with CUNA councils.
They call me Prospects. Since the day I was born as a diver's watch, the challengers of the world have taught me many things. Life is not a numbers game. It's about challenging ourselves. No matter what happens, just follow your heart. These pioneers drive our generation forward. Not by setting records, but by never giving up. Keep going forward. Prospects.
Available at Lucido Fine Jewelry.
Greg Lokinen back out there for his second inning of work. In the first, he allowed a leadoff single to Frankie Luska, one that just kind of got past the glove of Adrian Guzman at shortstop. Then the walk to Noah Childress was able to get Drew Galassi to pop out on a 3-0 pitch. Kind of, as you said, escaped what could have been a monster inning maybe if Galassi launched one, but the fielder's choice by Colby Johnson surrendered 2 outs on the error off the glove of Jalen Smith. He had a really nice diving play, got back up, tossed it over to first, a bit low. Herring couldn't pick it, and that allowed another run to score. The inning continued with the walk to Nick Ulch, and then got Curiel to pop out. That's why Malik Blaze, John Hodo, and Frankie Luska will bat here in inning number 2.
Lokinen hopes to shake that first inning off and goes right back to work.
1-0. Yeah, it's strange to see the 2 walks, obviously, from Greg, as that one is punched into the glove of Guzman. Read it right away and able to snare that into the short outfield.
Good read by Guzman, being able to track that down, or else that would have snared down right in front of Trent Bauer. John Hodo now for the Unicorns.
He had a pretty good game this morning, 2 for 3 with a run scored as well, trying to get this bat going. Coming into play today at 192. Fairly low batting average on balls in play, as that one slices inside. And generally, for a contact hitter like Hodo is, will generally work out of that. He's hitting 43% ground balls, kind of right into the strength, one of them at least, of Lokinen. This one popped up, kind of no man's land down there, and Herring, Navarro, and McKinley will all make a bid, but just fall short.
John Hodo's got some life, and see what he does with it here in this hitter's 2-1 count.
Reminder, you can chime in with us on Facebook and YouTube here today. Yes, we're back on Facebook if you're just tuning in with us. So like us while you're there. Get notifications when we go live. It's United Shore Professional Baseball League. You can subscribe to us at the same letters and words, United Shore Professional Baseball League. Now the 2-1. Curveball high, 3-1 on John Hodo.
If you're Hodo, you want to make sure it's in the zone. Take a good hack at it like that. That one's driven to deep left field.
And a line drive. Bauer! What a play!
Amazing effort from Bauer in left field.
Digs up a knot of grass. We'll have to replace it out there, but able to tumble his way into the second out of the second inning.
Need one of those golf wedges to help the greens out after they hit one of those nice shots on the green, and it gives a divot.
Usually not a good sign on what's happened, but in that case it is.
You're going to lay out, and make sure you catch it.
First pitch changeup outside to Frankie Luska, 1-0. Luska got the party started in the first. Just a single up the middle. Curveball knots in for strike 1. Knuckle curve for Greg Lokinen. He's had a slider in his back pocket, but he's actually not thrown it this year. 1-2. I know we've identified it as a slider in the past on the broadcast. Everyone up here thought that was kind of the case, but I was able to talk to him today and said, yeah, it's a knuckle curve, kind of a spiked grip on my curveball. Was toying with that slider, which he's used a couple times in his collegiate career. Another curveball looped right into the hands of Bauer, as he will make that play for the third out of the second inning. Much different for Greg Lokinen. He sends a 1-2-3 and outs here on the USPBL Network.
Whenever my family wants to enjoy the great outdoors, we pack up my Chevy Blazer and go camping in style. It looks great, and with the cargo management system, we can bring all the comforts of home away from home. Plus, with available 4G LTE Wi-Fi, the kids can still stay connected with friends. Thanks to my Blazer, roughing it isn't rough at all.
Lease a 2021 Blazer 2LT for just $219 a month. Put it in D and see why Chevy drives the Motor City.
Check your checking. If your account doesn't get you pumped, amped, or geeked, make the switch to Genius Checking from Genesis Credit Union. It's just genius.
Jeremy and Nick back with you here from Jimmy John's Field in downtown Utica. Bridenthal started for the Mammoths. Greg Shanahan for the Unicorns. Bridenthal going 5 innings today, 4 runs given up. 3 runs given up, I beg your pardon. 2 of them earned, 2 walks and 3 strikeouts through 58 pitches out there. Norberto Navarro also making his impact at the plate, as we talked about, continued to swing that hot stick, 2 for 3. 3 runs scored, 2 driven in. This is Trent Bauer, though. It's Bauer, Herring, Guzman, your Zach Hart agency. 3 men due up here in the second as Bauer pounds that outside.
Let's see if his momentum from the first game continues to pick up here in this at-bat and kind of carry over to this second game of the day.
Line drive right up the box.
Look out, Jordan.
Past his head, past the diving glove of Curiel. And how often do you see that? You make a great play out in the outfield, then you're sprinting in because you know you're at bat. You just remember that back in the Little League days.
It's always a good feeling. You're like, oh, wait, it's like finding money in your pocket. Oh, yeah, I'm up to bat next.
Or maybe you have to be called over because you're out chatting with your family somewhere, as Little Leaguers sometimes wander into, trying to chase the ice cream truck. I've experienced that lately watching some Tykes play baseball. It's a different thing, as this one is in for strike 1 on Herring.
Now, if you were to go and get your favorite ice cream during the game, what would it be?
Then or now?
Both.
I'll think about now. Here's the 0-1 to Herring. I was just reflecting on this the other day for some reason as I was walking through the Plymouth Art Fair, I think, but I saw Fudgicles being sold. I always love those. I don't know if now that would be my go-to choice, but still good.
Yeah, they're very sticky when they melt.
Big fan of cookie dough ice cream.
Cookie dough's great. I love cookie dough.
Peanut butter chocolate.
Yep.
That's my go-to. The crew likes cookie dough behind us.
Yep.
Our director Dylan chiming in here as Herring fouls us off.
When I was little, even sometimes now, if I'm hankering it, I'd go for Blue Moon.
Okay.
It's not even like a very popular choice.
It's
but
acquired taste.
Yeah. But if somebody has it, I'm like, all right, I'm going with it. It's good stuff. Sometimes it hits the spot, but yeah, cookie dough is always a go-to.
Well, if anybody's listening down in the concession stand, now is a perfect day to bring us up ice cream. I think Matt Snyder wants some. Our crew in the far left booth would love some too. This one outside, Carr wanting that one as Luska held it there as well. 1-2 on Logan Herring now.
Now, if you would add toppings to it, what would it be?
I'm not a big toppings guy.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know why.
I'd always go for like the chocolate dipped, so it'd be like hard on the outside, then soft on the inside.
Swing and a miss by Herring. That's the 3rd K already for Jordan Carr.
And I'd throw some sprinkles on it too, just for, because winners get sprinkles.
A little color.
Yeah.
Here's Adrian Guzman now. I mean, you know what he's going to bring on a daily basis with the glove. The bat, I don't know if it's been surprising, but it's been maybe better than we expected in round 2 here in the USPBL. This one clubbed again. Blaze picks it well over to second. What a pick at second as well. There's web gems all the way around. Blaze to Hodo to Childress, all flashing the leather, and a big high five from Jordan Carr and company as everybody comes in. How about a little 5-4-3 action to end the second here?
I'm all out of love for my old insurance. Switch to insurance. They're saving me so much. They covered my car and bundled with my home. I feel so secure to say I love insurance.
Hello, AAA Insurance.
Goodbye, insurance. Hello.
Insurance.
Get a quote and save up to 20%.
New flooring from the Carpet Guys is as easy as 1, 2, free. 1, just call the Carpet Guys for fast, free, and home shopping. 2, get massive warehouse direct savings. And 3, I mean free, as in 4 years of interest-free financing. That's 1, 2, free, but only for a limited time. So be wise and call the Carpet Guys at 855-4MY-GUYS or visit carpetguys.com today.
Be wise, call the Carpet Guys at 855-4MY-GUYS.
2-0 lead for the Utica Unicorns here today. Flashing the leather, though, at the end of that inning. Tough play for Malik Blaze as he kind of had to surround the ground ball at third. So you think at that point, maybe max 1 out you're getting if you get a perfect throw over to second or first. He fed it low to Hodo at second base. He picked it, almost just like Blaze did. And then over to Childress, who also was able to scoop it and make a play. Nice job to get Jordan Carr out of what was a mini jam after allowing the leadoff single, as now Greg Lokinen looks to get the baton where he left off in the second inning. Say hello to an old friend watching on YouTube, Coley Curry, who played in this league for a couple years. He says, let's go Hodo, let's go Blaze. This one chopped back. Talking to John Dombrowski, the co-manager for the Westside Woolly Mammoths, on the field before the game. And between him and I and John Hodo, we were kind of having a discussion about some guys that played for the Unicorns, where they are now. A lot of players have moved on, as McKinley able to catch that one for the first out, and the fifth straight out quietly for Lokinen here in the third. Tammy Walker-Stillwell says, I'm so glad you're back on Facebook. Love to watch at work. We're glad too. John Willis says hello from Taylor, Michigan. Maria Briggs is back on Facebook.
We're glad to have him.
Tough play for Lokinen. Going to go right to Navarro, though. And it got interesting at the end, and pulling off Logan Herring. Not often you see that from Norberto. Probably will be the second error of this game so far for the Mammoths defense. They had a pair in their 9-4 victory earlier versus Ferry Unicorns team. So we kind of talked about, where these teams are in terms of pitching. So length from these starters is pretty important. Kind of a split doubleheader if you want to look at it that way here today. Regardless, besides the Saturday, you hardly ever have 2 9-inning. Actually, the first one was a 7-inning, but
regardless.
Yeah, it's a midday game, as you kind of mentioned in the pregame show, as well, as Colby Johnson dashes the feet there. But they'll play today. Dennis again will play tomorrow. And then the Unicorns will have 2 more games this week as well. So it's going to be a challenging week for these teams.
Challenging week, but also on the opposite side. Oh, here's a chopper over to third base.
Feeds to second in time, over to first. Can't quite pick that one. And did that skip into the dugout?
Not quite. Carusa doing a good job of backing up the first baseman.
So another fielder's choice out. Drew Galassi is targeted down at second base, and now Anthony Jones will come to the plate. Kind of a weird flow
Weird
to
flow.
this game early on.
It's not very clean. It's very much so in the gray area, not black and white.
Can of corn. Herring is under it. Across the bag, is able to pick it up as Navarro is coming in to assist. Herring able to clean it up to end this third inning, though. It's your fifth third out, brought to you by Fifth Third here today. Nothing becomes of the error that allowed Drew Galassi to reach. Now time for JJ, the field general, presented by Michigan First Credit Union here today. Well, your base pass umpire will appreciate the water on this muggy day here today. That's Sal Giacomintonio at second base. All our umpires have to be on a first-name basis with JJ too, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's very familiar with these umpires.
Mostly because of that right there, the treat.
Yeah,
but
there you go. There's a treat.
I help you, you help me, right?
Right. That's how it works.
Here comes your DTE Energy Kid Race, the mascot. It's Wooly, kind of dogging it around the second base bag here. It's
like
a little.
Looks like he ate a box of Twinkies before. It was a little slower.
A little zigzag by our kid at third base. He's able to get by, and your DTE Energy Kid Race, the mascot, is won by the kid. Once again here today. We thank DTE Energy and Michigan First Credit Union for their sponsor of the United Shore Professional Baseball League, powered by UWM here today. While the defense in some respects has helped these pitchers, in other respects it's the innings maybe a bit lengthier. But regardless, it's a 2-0 game. It feels more like a 0-0 game the way it is kind of felt in the last innings or two.
A lot of weird outcomes at these at-bats.
Jalen Smith, Nick Caruso, and Trevor McKinley, your Zach Hart agency. 3 men due up as Curiel vacuums that up literally over to first. The swipe tag. He did not get it there, says Sal Giacomintonio over at first. Tough one to see from our vantage point. There's a peek over at your first base coach here today, Rick Dobnak, Randy Dobnak's father. We hope to speak with him on the air a bit later, having a lot of fun. I was able to hang out with him and Taylor Jellikowski in the clubhouse before the game here today.
Special honoree first base coach. Ooh, he got him.
And not happy about that as Jalen Smith caught him leaning a bit. And just like that, there's the first out.
Jordan Carr with that fancy pickoff move, caught Smith in a more of a just a wedge down his feet where like he had ankles or like weights around his ankles. It was just not a pretty sight.
0-1 to Nick Caruso here. Slider down low. Caruso off to a 5 for 19 start. Has a double to his credit along with an RBI. That wind still blowing heartily to right center field here. Pitch off the plate outside, 2-1 on Caruso. It's one thing here today, Carr has not gotten behind many hitters. A decent amount of first pitch swings from these batters as well. 2-2 is chopped back, but that's the thing. When you have a guy that has a two-seam, a four-seam, a curveball, a slider, and a changeup every once in a while, just 7% of the time, but you can't afford to get deep in counts because you really don't know what you're going to see. It's a guessing game at that point.
And that's what works to their Carr's favor. That one slapped to left field.
Nice sliding play by Anthony Jones for the second out here.
That really helps Jordan Carr in the long run because he has a lot more to choose from. And he can make quick work of these batters, giving them a bunch of different combinations of pitches and help them keep them on their toes and guessing, like you said, which can help them produce outs and elongate his outings.
The last few outings for Jordan Carr. Again, technically the All-Star game does not count in the final stats. He did throw 22 pitches. 2 outings ago, 74 pitches, and before that 75 is high. This year 84. And you're really starting to see these pitchers be a bit more stretched out, especially the starters who know they're going to start going forward, which is important. 4 games in a week like these teams are seeing here today, these 2 teams particularly. And again, Jordan Carr is able to face the minimum here in the 3rd inning. Able to pick off Jalen Smith after the leadoff single. Line out and a ground out is what we see here in the 3rd.
Only at your Chevrolet certified service dealer do you get tires engineered specifically for your vehicle and a price match guarantee.
With our tire price match guarantee, if you find a better price within 30 days of purchase, we'll refund the difference. Put it in D and see why Chevy drives the Motor City.
Make your move with a quick and easy mortgage from Genesis Credit Union. We have mortgages to fit your life. Genesis Credit Union. Visit us today.
They call me Prospects. Since the day I was born as a diver's watch, the challengers of the world have taught me many things. Life is not a numbers game. It's about challenging ourselves. No matter what happens, just follow your heart. These pioneers drive our generation forward, not by setting records, but by never giving up. Keep going forward. Prospects.
Available at Lucido Fine Jewelry.
Jeremy and Nick back with you here from Jimmy John's Field. Greg Lokinen out there trying to put together his 3rd straight quality inning. Back in the 1st, it was kind of a wild and wacky way to score 2 runs if you're the Unicorns, but you're clinching on to that right now given the score. Leadoff single by Luska, then the walk, pop out, fielder's choice, and error. A walk and a pop out. Scored 2 runs, 1 ball that skipped its way all the way past first base, which was just could have been a routine ground ball, but Anthony Jones with the deep and musty or girthy foul territory, able to scramble all the way from 1st to 3rd.
If you're a Unicorn, you can take what you can get right now because Lokinen is usually a strikeout pitcher and hasn't really had any strikeouts so far.
Nick Olch, Donovan Curiel, and Malik Blaze, your Zach Hart agency. 3 men due up in the 4th inning. 1-2-3 in the 2nd. Allowed just an error and a fielder's choice in the 3rd as he starts out Olch with the first pitch knuckle curve. An intriguing guy that pitched earlier who was kind of under the radar in terms of a pitching standpoint. Here's the 2-0. Sparks inside 3-0 quickly here in Olch is more of a position player, and he's available on the bench here in Game 2 for the Unicorns here today. 3-0 piped inside for strike 1. Nick Olch way ahead in the count here as he takes a big hack at that fastball there. But it's Ryan Ray. He's a guy that threw an inning today, did give up a couple hits, but more importantly, he had a fastball that reached 91 here today. And he's a guy who pitched a little bit in college as Olch draws his 2nd walk of the game, but not too much, just 3 outings worth, maybe a total of 5 innings or so worth of innings for a guy who has been mostly a catcher. His dad caught in the major leagues as well. But he said he tops out at times at 94 when he's been clocked on the mound. He was just throwing a lot today. Wasn't sure whether he would actually pitch in the first game. So for a guy who struggled a bit at the plate to begin his USPBL career, always intriguing to see somebody try to switch to the pitching side as well. We saw Dugan Darnell do that, and now he's pitching in the Rockies organization.
You could be good at one thing, but then hidden talent later finds out you're great at another thing.
And it's funny to see that, right, for a guy who, at least at the higher levels of college and professional, who really hasn't played at position. Let's get those kind of arms, especially if they can command and control it, if they can light it up with the velocity, because there's not a lot of harm that's been done, literally, to that arm, and that's what you look at with these pitchers. Decent lead for Olch over there with the lefty on the mound here as that scurries inside 2-0. Malik Blazier, Zach Hart agency man on deck here in the 4th, then it's John Hodo. Those two guys had contact outs to begin the 2nd inning. 2-0, the changeup high, 3-0 on Curiel here. One of the more sure-handed shortstops you will see. We have some good middle infielders certainly in the league this year. It doesn't get any better between the double play combination of Guzman and Navarro. Today it's Hodo and Curiel. 3-0. Gonna stir Donovan back to the plate. He says, my bad, didn't mean to show you up there. To the home plate umpire here today. 3-1. All popped up to Lokinen today. I'm not sure Lokinen believed that his infielders were gonna allow him to take that ball.
Yeah, they definitely were caught off guard. That one's a little low now. And now Curiel will take his base. Now Malik Blaze will step in. He lined out to, like you said, Guzman. Both Guzman and Curiel, two of the better shortstop in the league. Both with their glove, but also with their speed and their bats, too.
Malik Blaze gets his 2nd at bat in this one. That's the 4th walk. It's by Lokinen here today. That's going to nearly surpass half of his walk total that he's had this year. Came in 5 walks to 37 strikeouts.
It's been kind of a role reversal where he hasn't put up many strikeouts like he has in the past, and he hasn't given up many walks, but certainly he's done that today. So it's kind of a backwards day for Lokinen. Everybody has those days, though.
Fastball that scurries inside, 2-1. Greg has been behind every hitter so far here tonight. Jordan Carr can count on a couple fingers how many guys he's fallen behind so far. That's something he wanted to work on coming into today, so really establishing his game plan early on. The changeup there, 2-2 on Malik Blaze.
It's good to, as a player, set little goals for yourself, and you don't have to hold the game in a big picture. You just focus on your tiny little goals and complete those, and things will work out in your favor if you keep doing that over and over and over again.
So this is the 3rd consecutive 3-ball count for Lokinen in the 4th. He has walked Olch and Curiel. Doesn't want to walk another batter here with no outs. Big, hearty rip for Malik Blaze as he tries to take advantage of what he thought might be a ball he could hit. Fastball that came in at 86 there for Lokinen. Popped him up. This one's going to reach McKinley and right. Scatters a couple steps to his right for the first out. It's a big one here in the fourth for Greg. Well, stick around in the next half inning. Pleased to have Rick Dobnak on. You saw him over there at first base coaching. Going to get a half innings of work in the booth with us as well on his son's bobblehead night. Pretty cool. John Hodo, 0 for 1 today. Line out to the left is the changeup delivered outside. We've seen first pitch changeup to a number of batters so far here tonight for Lokinen. He's not been able to locate that pitch so far here tonight. 1-0, line drive, gonna maybe stay up there. No, dumps into Briggs. Has a shot at that play at third base as Olch had to hold up a bit with the runners in front of him, but in the end, that's going to load the bases here with 1 out in the fourth.
Now, if you're Greg Lokinen and you're thinking about staying in another inning or two, you need to get a quick out here, quick double play to get out of this jam with no runs scored. And Nick Caruso, first base, will try to talk him over about a game plan here and have the runners on the corners, both the third base and the first baseman play in, and then the shortstop and second base try to stay back and try to turn 2 to get out of the inning.
No action in either pen thus far, but chatting with Taylor before the game, he wanted to see length from Lokinen here today, given the situation he has with his pitching staff. Luska looks at a strike on the corner. He's hoping to only use one guy in relief. That is Jellikowski here tonight, being Ledbetter. We saw Bridenthal and Rogers go earlier. Thacker and Hicks, 2 other guys that have started. Luger unavailable here tonight. Likely will go tomorrow as Luska looks at 1-1. Hicks will start tomorrow for this Westside team. Another guy has been right up there with the league leaders in pitching. Earned himself a all-star bid. At times he looked like a guy who could maybe start the all-star game. Just a couple shaky outings here or there, but one of the better stories in this league as well. If he does ever make it to affiliate ball, he, like Randy Dobnak, might have a decent story to tell their grandkids, as this one is a nice curveball on the outside for the second out here in the fourth.
That's his first strikeout of the day.
Surprising, isn't it?
Yeah, 4th inning already, and that's his first one. He's usually a strikeout machine.
Instead, it's 4 walks to 1 strikeout, and it's worth repeating. A strikeout per 9 coming into today of 18.5 for Greg, and just a walk per 9 of 2.5. Opponent's batting average of .056. That won't be blemished much, at least to this point. Just 1 hit surrendered before this inning. That was the leadoff single to Luska. John Hodo collected the second. He is standing on first base. It's Hodo on first, Curiel at second, Olch over at third. There you see him. Decent lead down the line there for Olch, the lead runner. 1-1, pump back, the curveball again.
That strikeout was huge for Lokinen to try to get out of this jam, and not any more damage done to this Mammoth lineup.
1-2, swing and a miss.
He gets out of it unscathed.
Nice job by Greg Lukin and to strand the bases loaded. 2 lead and then a pop out, a strikeout, and a strikeout here in the fourth. Well, you could win $250 and 4 tickets to the USPBL championship game. Text Chevy Detroit to 555-888. Again, Chevy Detroit to 555-888 right now. Check ChevyDetroit.com/USPBL for all the official rules of that contest. Rick Dobnak will join us next here on the USPBL Network. Stick with us.
Dunham Sports is a proud partner of the USPBL. Big names, low prices, delivering value since 1937.
At Fifth Third Bank, we're working hard to make banking a Fifth Third better, which means we put 166.7% into everything we do.
I think you can only give 110%.
Well, with free checking, fraud protection services, and an automatic savings tool to help you quickly reach your goals, 166.7% is possible.
Oh, wait till my 8th graders hear about this. They're going to be like, it's not possible. But I'll guess it is.
This is banking, a Fifth Third better.
Jordan Carr takes again for the Utica Unicorns here today. He's looking good. Just 2 base runners allowed. Both of them lead off singles in the second and third. Happy to have Rick Dobnak join us here. Rick, how you doing today? Good to see you here and on the base pass over there at first.
Yeah, I think I got fired after the guy got picked off at first base.
Well, you're back. Maybe broadcasting is your next venture now.
I don't know about that.
Well, Rick, of course, is the father of Randy Dobnak, and we're so glad to have him here today on Randy's Bobblehead Day. I know my thoughts on it, but I want to get your thoughts first because, sometimes you look at bobbleheads and you're like, who is that? But I think it looks pretty good. What do you think?
I think it looks pretty good. And the little image they keep popping up on the scoreboard out there is awesome. It's like he's peeking up over the top of the scoreboard and he goes back down.
So number one, such a story for your son to get to where he is, and we hope to see him back soon in the field with the Twins. But, if we would have told you 4 years ago, at this point, Randy's sort of out of baseball and trying to get back into it, Uber driving, that's the story that everybody tells, right? But, he pitches here in the USPBL, gets signed by the Twins, a stint that's pretty short considering, as Curiel picks that one up for the first out. But did you think we would be here today celebrating such an accomplishment by your son in such a short time?
Without sounding like, I don't know what the word would be, but I thought maybe when he was like around 13 or 14 years old that he had the tools and the mentality to make it to Major League Baseball. It was just whether or not he was going to do all the work that it took to get to there. Mm-hmm. And honestly, I believe that if it wasn't for the USPBL, he's probably not where he's at today because they gave him the opportunity to get out there and kind of show what he could do, And one of the important things that I encourage kids nowadays is be ready when that opportunity comes. And he was working out. He was doing everything he needed to do to be ready when somebody called and said, hey, we're interested.
Can do, right? And the work ethic for, guys maybe have all the talent in the world. Maybe you're throwing 96 and 97. You can't locate or you're not working hard enough. A guy like that is more likely probably to have success over a guy who just thinks the ability and is going to skate through it as Colton Horner swings at it 1 up and 1 down. Here in the fourth, chatting with Rick Dobnak, the fine father of Randy Dobnak. And we'd love for him to be with us here today. Unfortunately, he can't, as this one is over the glove of John Hodo at second base there. But what was his reaction when he found out they were going to make a bobblehead for him?
Oh, if you know Randy at all, he's very, very humble. And whenever they were talking about doing something like this, he was probably just, he probably thought it was a joke. You know what I mean? And he just, he's still humble to this day. You know what I mean? And I told my wife, I said, that's kind of my job to keep him grounded and keep him that way, forever. Because I don't want him to take anything for granted. He worked hard for it. You know what I mean? Keep working hard and have fun. And I always told him that, like, whenever you went out to pitch a game, have fun. Number one thing, have fun.
Briggs looking to get this Mammoths offense going as it's chopped foul down the third base line. Ground out for Lamar back in the first inning. When you look at, everything that Randy's baseball career, has unfolded, what do you think his biggest accomplishment would be to this point, besides making it to the big leagues?
Right. That's the thing he's most proud of, and he's mentioned that to me, that's probably the thing he's most proud of in his life at this point in time. You know what I mean? But like I said, he's just a humble kid, and he works hard. and I don't know how else to put it. You know, he wanted it more than, you know, maybe somebody else did or whatever. But like I said, if it wasn't for USPBL, I don't know if he's there. If Jim Essie's son doesn't catch him in college, he never meets Jimmy, you know.
Sure.
And Jim gave him the opportunity to come up here and play, and next thing you know, Billy Milo signs him, you know, and I wouldn't say the rest is history because history is still being written. But
Sure. Where does the stash come from? Is there a story behind that?
yeah, he said when he was in single A, he kind of, you know, he left it like that, and his roommate was like, "Dude, what are you doing?" You know, and he's like, "I don't know, just trying it out." Well, that day he got promoted to Double A, and he's like, "Okay, gotta keep it now, right?" And pretty much the rest is history. He's had it ever since. And when he got married, there was
Bobbled there at second base, but Briggs able to beat it out.
There was a question of whether or not he was going to shave it off for the wedding because they got married during the season.
Sure.
And Ariel was like, I'm not making that decision. It's up to you. So it stayed for the wedding.
There you go. And pictures to last a lifetime if he doesn't stick with it, maybe to, you know, after his baseball career at some point too. Trent Bauer looking to keep this thing going here. 2 outs now with that. Or 1 out, I beg your pardon. Or no, there should be 2, right? Because of the ground out. Yep, 2 because of the ground out by Navarro to start this 4th inning. There's just 1 on the board, but Briggs on first base with Bauer back up. He's had quite the day again. Home run earlier, and the diving play out in left, and a single here in the 2nd.
It's a good thing Jelly's over there because you probably would have got picked off again if I was down there.
Did Jelly say anything to you after that happened?
No. I'm pretty sure I'm going to get my pink slip when I get back down there.
And that's a balk by Jordan Carr as he tries to figure out exactly what he did. Not a huge fan of the call, it doesn't seem, but allows Lamar Briggs to move to second base. So you guys are big travelers, big drivers from what I hear.
I am. My wife doesn't drive at all.
No, okay. So some, you know, as I kind of was around you and people came up and met you, they're like, you really drove from Pennsylvania to get here? And you're like, yeah, that's no problem, right?
For me, I tell people, like, you know, a 300-mile drive to me is like running down to 7-Eleven to get a cup of coffee. I've driven as far as 2,000 miles. He played in Arizona when he was 15 in high school for Under Armour.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't have the money to fly out there, so I just drove my truck always out there, 2,000 miles one way.
And what's the craziest thing you've ever seen on a road trip? Anything stick out?
Oh, I mean, I've seen things on fire and things rolled over and trucks standing upside down and the tires pointing straight up in the air, and you know what I mean?
Trent Bauer going to break his bat here, and Blaze cannot get that one. Chatting with Rick Dobnak, the father of Randy Dobnak, his bobblehead night here today. If you haven't seen it, you can go to uspbl.com. It was on our pregame show as well on the United Shore media desk. In terms of, you know, looking forward for Randy, obviously, you know, a really nice 3-year deal here in the offseason, or 5-year deal, I beg your pardon. So, you know, just all things considered, for a guy who was signed at independent ball, quickly rose up the system, that's just got to feel really good for everybody involved on the family, right?
It is, and like I said, there are people in that chain of events that if you take one of them out of it, it probably doesn't happen. You know, all the way from his college coach, even the assistant coach that they had at AB before when he was playing high school ball, he was the first guy to approach me. You know what I mean? He's the guy that kind of found Randy to begin with, that got him to AB, and then, like I said, Skip's kid Danny. Go ahead.
They're going to wave him around third base here, and Lamar is going to be able to coast home. So Trent Bauer breaks his bat, probably maybe unhappy with that on the day he's having so far here today, but regardless, drives in another run, and just that, like that, able to split the lead in half. It's now 2-1.
But I tell a lot of people, like, there was a lot of people that were involved, you know what I mean? And like I said, Randy did his part. He worked out. He stayed in shape. He was ready for whenever somebody called him. But there's a chain of people in there that are responsible for him being where he's at today. And I try to remind him of that, and he's aware of that. But you know, I'll never forget any of those people because they helped him get where he's at.
So sticking on the driving path, was it when he was promoted to the major leagues that you guys were heading out to Colorado when we got signed by the Twins, and you turned around and headed back to Detroit?
When he got signed, whenever they called and talked to him here, and he told us that we were in Colorado, we just took a road trip. You know, like I said, driving for me is just driving. So we drove all the way out to Colorado for just a road trip, and So he told us what was going on, and I told my wife, pack up the truck, let's go. And I drove all the way from Colorado to here, and I think we got here about an hour before game time, and, you know.
Just how you planned it, right?
It is what it is, right, yeah. You do what you got to do, you know what I mean?
Couldn't miss that moment for sure. 1-1 on Logan Herring, a run already in. Leadoff single by Horner, then a fielder's choice by Briggs. He is the one driven around by the RBI double by Trent Bauer here. Herring striking out in that second inning of work. Here's the 1-1. Did you guys grow up, or did Randy and company grow up Pirates fans? Or?
Oh yeah. We've been a million Pirate games. The two most important ones were I wanted to make sure that my kids were at the last game at Three River Stadium and they were at the first game at PNC Park. I mean, that was like one of the things I just wanted to do. For whatever reason, I wanted to make sure they were there for those two iconic days.
2-1 line drive to center. That should float down in front of Galassi. It will. They want to wave Bauer around third base. Play at the plate. Maybe trying to avoid that. Leska is able to snake it right on him. How about it? Trent Bauer looked like that was a sure bet to score around third base, but Galassi able to target him in to Frankie Leska.
You're good.
And that is the end of this fourth inning. Well, Rick, thanks for joining us here today. Great to see the bobblehead. I hope you got a few to take home with you. I saw your wife, Ann, was the sweetheart of the game here, too.
That's my sister. That's
your
his godmother.
Okay, got it. Okay.
My wife was stuck with work. She couldn't get out of work to come on. So.
Oh, darn. Well, maybe she's watching here at home.
She is.
So she's
listening
probably
right
analyzing
now.
everything you've said, right?
Hi, honey. How are you doing?
Great to catch up with you. Great to meet
you.
you. Best of luck to Randy. We hope to see him back on the field soon.
Thank you very much.
Back with more after this here on the USPBL Network.
Piloting a hot air balloon is my wife's passion, and she couldn't have a better wingman than my Chevy Equinox. Its stylish design rises above the rest, and with its 4G LTE Wi-Fi plus great gas mileage, Equinox keeps us connected mile after mile. With my Equinox, the sky isn't the limit.
Lease a 2021 Equinox LT for just $189 a month. Put it in D and see why Chevy drives the Motor City. Visit ChevyDetroit.com.
First State Bank is a locally owned and operated business. We're part of your community. At FSBCares.com, you'll find ways that we're making a difference by featuring locally owned and operated businesses, providing access to helpful financial resources, and engaging with community. FSBCares.com is part of our commitment to the neighborhood because strong neighbors mean stronger communities. Where good neighbors do great things. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Jeremy Addo and Nick Matthews back with you here. Greg Lokinen back out there for another inning of work. Boy, this game looked like it might end in a Woolly Mammoths lead, but what a play by Galassi and Leska. It's worth mentioning that Leska doesn't catch every day. He's starting to get into that role, but he stood with that tall, not always an easy thing to try to get a runner avoiding or looking to avoid you, but Galassi, I beg your pardon, Herring did all he could to try to avoid it, just couldn't.
Randy Dobnik texted his father, and his father, Rick, just showed me a text saying hey, he's listening in, and he says hi. He says he's sorry that he couldn't make it, and it's okay, Randy. Congratulations on your own bobblehead, man, and hope you get better soon. And looking forward to see you playing in some more games, man.
Absolutely. We'll have to bring one of those bobbleheads up to the press box. We have a JJ bobblehead over there to Nick's right-hand side. Not often we get too many bobbleheads.
Not too many.
Here around
right.
Jimmy John's Field. Unique ones, at least.
JJ's got one, Andy's got one, and now Randy adding to the collection.
Big hack by Colby Johnson as that one lifts its way back. Pretty good reel-in job by Loken. He did walk a couple more runners back in the fourth inning. Allowed a single to John Hodo. But other than that, not a lot of danger in scoring in the second and third, and hopes for that to be the case here in the fifth as well. Another big swing, a pop-up. Could look 2 catches here today, not quite. Guzman racing in for the second out.
Smart play there by Guzman, letting the pitcher get out of the way, and you, the fielder, doing your job and making the play for them.
Well, that one's even tougher, obviously, because you got the mound and you're going to go backwards in that scenario. The other one was a play in front of him. First pitch to Jones, away. Is that supposed to be at the end of this inning? I just found it, so we can do it whenever it's ready. 1-0 is high. 2-0 on Anthony Jones here. He reached on an error bank in the first, also popped out in the third. That was to the first baseman, Herring. Change-up dash is low and in. Or maybe that's just the fastball that's lost a little gusto on the velocity as the game has gone on. .3-0 in for strike one. That was the problem, I guess, to the first 3 batters in the fourth. A 3-2 and a 3-1 count. Both were walks, and then 3-2 to Blaze. He was able to get a pop-out. That started to be a real in job again for Lokinen, then struck out the 2 men at the top of the order today, Luska and Childress. 3-2, maybe nipped the jersey, doesn't matter, it's a walk anyway. 2-out base runner, that's 5 free passes here today compared to 2 strikeouts for Greg. Rare.
Olds with 2 of those free passes today.
Yep, and at bat in the first, and at bat in the fourth, and now he comes full circle here in the fifth as well. It's interesting to see maybe these base runners are reaching off track record that Lokinen doesn't really throw over all too much, but they're getting a solid 2.5 step lead nearly every time out there.
If you're Lokinen, you need to notice that or pick up on it and give them a little warning check and let them know you're still looking over there.
0-2 on the black for strike 3. Gets Olch here, and nothing becomes of the 2-out walk. Well, when it's time for baseball, it's time for beer. Two Hearted Ale has been named the #1 beer in America for the past 4 years by members of the American Homebrewers Association. Play ball with the best. Two Hearted Ale, the iconic American IPA from Bell's Brewery, Comstock, Michigan. Please drink responsibly. Back with more after this. Jordan Carr is still kicking here in the 5th inning. Could have been a 2-2 game. Could have even been a 3-2 game the way that inning was starting to unfold. And Rick Dobnak did not get fired. There he is walking on the right side of your screen. He was contemplating after he had a runner picked off to start the second.
It always reminds me of Will Ferrell being like the first base or the third base coach holding up the sign saying, all right, don't pull a muscle, having a special guest base running coach.
Adrian Guzman, Jalen Smith, Nick Caruso, your Zach Hart agency. 3 men due up in the 5th. Guzman hit into an improbable, I think that's the best way to describe it, 5-4-3 double play. So number one, the ball was pretty hard hit to his fellow middle infielder, playing third base here today. He's been playing a few more reps over at third lately. Malik Blaze kind of took a side angle to it because it was hit so hard. Fed it over to second base. The throw was low to John Hodo. He scooped it, threw it over to the first baseman Childress, who also had to make a pretty decent jab at it. And in the end, they got 2 outs to end the inning. 1-0 is in for strike one, a change of speeds there for Jordan Carr.
That double play was executed perfectly on all cylinders. From the third baseman, second base, over to first. And here's a shot to right center.
Sending Colby Johnson back to the warning track. Adrian Guzman continues to swing the bat pretty well. Hit his first home run of the year the other day. Jalen Smith, he was the man picked off over at first. Carr caught him leading.
Looked like he stood there flat-footed. That was all, and accepted his fate.
It's a nice play by your third base coach here today, the co-manager of the Mammoths, Taylor Jellikowski, down there. Heard some stories from him about Randy Dobnak. Spent some time with him in the minor leagues of the Twins organization. Jellikowski got as high as Double-A with the Pensacola Blue Wahoos. I think they have since switched affiliations.
I love that name, the Blues. How fun.
Pretty cool logo as well. There's a lot of neat logos in minor league baseball. Yanked that one, but way foul.
Some of my favorite team names that don't get like a whole lot of attention is the Quad City River Bandits. Even the Scranton Wilkes Bear Rail Riders, even the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs. Just obscure out there names that are original. I love it.
Trash Pandas.
The Trash Pandas, yeah.
The Mud Hens, I mean, everybody knows it around here, but it's pretty unique.
It's very unique. Been to a couple Mud Hens games, actually.
Really nice park down in Toledo.
Fifth Third Field.
That one slices inside as Smith draws a walk here.
What's cool about Fifth Third Field is actually if you're walking on the streets in downtown Toledo, you can actually look at a baseball game because it's built kind of underground.
And just a little bit of that in Comerica Park, but most of it's kind of covered by that fountain out in center field. So Googled unique minor league names, right?
Yeah.
Fly ball to right, again to Colby Johnson. And in similar fashion, he will record the first and second out here in the fifth inning. So we have the Missoula Paddleheads. They are now independent in the Pioneer League. That used to be rookie ball, I believe, before things were shifted around. Oh, yes, the Montgomery Biscuits.
I love it.
They have some nice uniforms and hats. The Blue Wahoos are on that list.
Love it. The Albuquerque Isotopes is a crew favorite.
Yep. Binghamton Rumble Ponies, the Class AA affiliate of the New York Mets. That one I have not heard of. As Jalen Smith scrambles to second base at foul territory again, wreaking havoc. He's to third, and he's standing up there. And now the tying run is 90 feet away with 2 outs in the fifth. And still no count to Trevor McKinley. So Jordan Carr has had the benefits of the pickoff, and well, that one scrambles away. How about the Kannapolis Intimidators? I don't know if they're still around. This is a list back from 2011. Fort Wayne Tin Caps, they say.
We got some history with the Tin Caps. USPBL. Andy Yap will be affiliated with the Tin Caps for a little bit.
The Auburn Double Days, yeah, that's a cool one. Kind of
Double Days.
Tipping a cap to the creator, they say, of baseball. Bowling Green Hot Rods, the West Tennessee Diamond Jacks. 0-2 away, 1-2. Oh yes, the Richmond Flying Squirrels.
Who could forget the Flying Squirrels?
Las Vegas 51s. Outside to Trevor McKinley, 2-2. Toledo Mudhens are actually 7 on this list. There you go.
Heck yeah.
Chattanooga Lookouts.
I've heard of the Lookouts before.
There you go. The Isotopes for
Yeah.
the Crew is number 3 on this list.
There you go.
And the Iron Pigs, number 1.
There it is, the Iron Pigs.
That's a AAA affiliate, actually, of, is it the Phillies?
I believe it is.
Yes.
Yes, it is. When I actually went to the Mudhens game, it was the Iron Pigs taking on the Mudhens in the bacon and eggs game.
Oh, yes. That's a cool one. I've seen that before. Swing and a miss by Trevor McKinley. Corkscrews himself in the ground, and the tying run will be stranded at third base here. Still 2-1.
I'm all in with HR and Organizational Development Council.
I'm all in with Marketing and Business Development Council.
I'm all in with Operations and Member Experience Council.
I'm all in with CEO Council.
I'm all in with Lending Council.
I'm all in with CFO Council.
I'm all in with Technology Council.
Our credit union is all in with CUNA councils.
Greg Lokinen out for his 6th inning of play here today, and after a 7-batter first inning, Taylor Jedlikowski and company kind of have to breathe a sigh of relief maybe here today to see him still out in the 6th inning. I'm sure they would love to get him through it. Again, this is technically a 9-inning game here today. It fits within the 2.5-hour time limits. Cannot start a new inning after that 2.5-hour time limit has expired. You see those jerseys on the scoreboard? I just saw those today. They have JJ all over them.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool with the paw on them, too, yeah.
Those will be worn later on this week, I believe, by the Beavers. A lot of good promotions coming up. There always are.
I saw somebody wearing, actually, on a couple rows right down beneath us, I see the Mammoth Hot Rod jerseys.
Yes. Those are sweet.
I like those.
Yes. So tomorrow, your standard fireworks. As this one popped up, McKinley. A lot of balls to right field recently here between these two teams as that goes for the first out. Tomorrow fireworks, we told you that. And then Saturday, a doubleheader. And your Metro Detroit Chevy Dealers family campout / classic rock.
Can jam out on the outfield.
And is that the day that they're wearing those jerseys? It sure is. So JJ, the Field General themed jerseys. You'll be able to auction and bid on those later on as well, online after the game. Portion of the proceeds will go to Fido and Fluffy's. And then Sunday, Beauty and the Beast Day presented by Fairy Tale Entertainment. Flipping to next week. We start on a Wednesday, Oldies Night. Will be on Wednesday. Then Thursday, it's 5 o'clock somewhere, featuring Caribbean Blue Band. Fireworks that Friday. Irish American Heritage Night, presented by Guinness.
Oh, of course.
And then wrapping up that week, Superhero Day, presented by Wolverine Humane Services. Here's the 0-1. Gonna miss.
Looking forward to I love superheroes.
Do you have a favorite one?
I have a few favorites from each universe.
Fly ball to right field. That's carrying, and it's going to gallop its way all the way to the gap. Blaze around first base. Easy cruising double for Malik here to start the 6th.
That was a rocket towards the right center gap.
Next up, the second baseman, number 2, John Hodo.
That's one of the spots you could actually probably hit a triple in this field.
Yeah, there's not many, right? We've talked about that on separate occasions here on the USPBL network. One opportunity as well. Maybe look around in left field as that juts out to the right. Here's a pop-up that's going to scoot down.
Back to the superheroes, I do have a couple favorites from each universe. Marvel, I'm a big. Spider-Man and Wolverine, Beast, and even Moon Knight's pretty cool too. From the opposite universe, DC, I love the Flash. I always sport his attire, and especially socks. I love my Flash socks. And then I also like Arsenal, the Red Arrow.
0-1.
You a big superhero guy, Jeremy?
Not huge, but I don't shy away from it either.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge movie guy overall, I guess. There's not one to flock to the theaters, but I like sci-fi. It's a good genre. Here's the 0-2. Slider. Or the curveball in. We've been kind of misidentifying the whole year. A peek at the Mammoths bullpen.
Looks like Ledbetter.
Yep, that's who we expected here today. They were hoping to only use Ledbetter and Lokinen. We'll see if that can still remain the case. Luska on deck here with 1 out. That one gets away, 2-2. Two-two pitch, checked his swing. Did he offer? The appeal says
Certainly close.
Yeah, Lokinen talked to me about this before the game in terms of looking to get ahead more in counts. Hasn't been able to do that so far here tonight, but has been working at certain things with his mechanics.
Next up for the Unicorns, the catcher, number 15.
Another walk. Surprisingly, his 5th of the game. Or 4th, I beg your pardon now.
Sixth.
Is it? I miscounted then.
They had 2 in the first, 2 in the 4th, 1 in the 5th, and now 1 in the 6th.
Some more action on the base pass here. We've already seen the bases loaded against Lokinen back in the 4th. Here, 1st and 2nd with 1 out. Luska looks at a strike 2. He's scoring party for these Unicorns. It looked like they were going to hold on to that 2-0 or 1-0 lead for a long time at first, but the Mammoths able to get the bats going in the last couple. Also had a runner reach 3rd in the 5th. Now the 0-2. Nasty knuckle curve for strike 3.
Lokinen finding his groove. Past couple innings, been able to rack up some Ks.
It's 4 strikeouts now for Greg. A reminder for those fans who like to watch us on Facebook, we're there as of today.
Big hack from Childress. He was looking towards that left center gap, which is wide open. Ball just outside.
1-1 here on Noah Childress. Different look for him in the here today. You kind of like it though, trying to establish some power early on. Maybe get his bat going a bit more.
Gives him a look to get more at bats, even more up in the lineup. He's one of those gap hitters. He's a hole finder.
2-1. Pinned in for strike 2. Fastball at 85. Okanen's average fastball right around 87. Coming into play today, he's topped out at 90. 2-2 whittled to the right, could be trouble. Greg fields his position well, as he's shown multiple times here today, and again will strand another runner in scoring position here in the 6th inning. Still a 2-1 game as these Mammoths try to get the bats going.
Attention Michigan, there is absolutely no need to drive all over town searching for new flooring. When the Carpet Guys will come to your house on your schedule, we'll bring our store to your door so you can shop in the comfort and privacy of your own home. And you'll love our huge selection. Buy right now with interest-free financing for up to 4 years. You can carpet your entire home for as little as $11.99 per month. Let the Carpet Guys take the stress out of buying new flooring. Call for a free in-house shopping experience today.
Be wise, call the Carpet Guys at 855-4MY-GUYS.
Times are tough right now. It feels like the bottom of the 9th and we're down by 2. But we've seen tough times before. And just like baseball has always been more than just a game, Chief Financial Credit Union is more than money. So it might be the bottom of the 9th, but we're the home team, and we've got runners on base. Batter up, America. It's time to play ball.
Jordan Carr back out for the 6th inning as well. 63 pitches through 5 innings for Carr. His defense helping him out. At the end of the 4th inning as well, Trent Bauer rounding his way around third. He was cut down at the plate thanks to Drew Galassi and Frankie Luskin. We described it if you didn't see it earlier. It's worth rewinding, but we've talked about Frankie Luska catching a bit more as this season went on. It was one of those hook slide attempts by Bauer, but Luska did a really good job to square up the plate and make sure there was really not much room at all for Trent Bauer. He really had to go around, and at that point it's really hard to reach that hand back to home plate.
That was textbook by Luska what he did, and making sure he didn't completely block the base path to where it would be an interference for the catcher, but able to block the plate enough where Bauer had to surround him and not get called for an interference.
Didn't expect the first pitch breaking ball as Navarro swings late through it. Carr trying to get back to that quick pace. Curiel, routine for him, 1 up and 1 down. And that's something that Carr really hasn't been able to establish much today, because he's kind of constantly had that leadoff runner on, or the runner on with 1 out directly after he records the first out. Colton Horner had one of those 1-out singles back in the 4th inning, but we saw him in the first. He was set and ready before the hitter even thought about getting back in the box. That one sawed off to right. Nice piece of hitting from Colton Horner, taking that one the other way. He's 2 for 2 in his last couple at bats.
Horner having a good day at the plate. Now we'll bring up Lamar Briggs, one of their hot hitters.
There's no action in the Unicorns pen still. And you'd imagine, from what we've talked about as well, with the Mammoths that it might stay that way for a while. Greg Shanahan started game 1. Mark Dozier made his debut. We already talked about Ryan Ray also making his pitching debut here tonight. This one in for strike 1 on Lamar. Had a fielder's choice back in the 4th and came around to score the game's only run thus far for the Mammoths. Also grounded out in the 1st. 0-1, 2 is low.
One swing of the bat could give him the lead here. Could even tie it. Hit to the outfield somewhere.
Talked about Jordan Carr looking to get that fastball velocity up, hoping with some tweaks and then his timing. That's what you kind of constantly hear about from Shane McCaddy and Justin Orenduff, the 2 pitching buffs of the USPBL staff. A lot of guys working on timing, and it can be a big issue for some, or for others, maybe in the case of Jordan Carr, it could just be a mini roadblock to maybe reaching your full potential and velocity potential. Something that the delivery value system looks at pretty closely. One of their main pillars, which is the analytical model that all these pitchers go through. Pitch in front of a bunch of cameras that give you a score. Here's Hodo.
Could be 2.
Over to first. Got him again. Second double play turned by this Unicorns defense. That one a bit more routine than we've seen earlier between Blaze, Curiel, and Childress. 2-1 Unicorns on the US Network.
Whenever my family wants to enjoy the great outdoors, we pack up my Chevy Blazer and go camping in style. It looks great, and with the cargo management system, we can bring all the comforts of home away from home. Plus, with available 4G LTE Wi-Fi, the kids can still stay connected with friends. Thanks to my Blazer, roughing it isn't rough at all.
Lease a 2021 Blazer 2 LT for just $219 a month. Put it in D and see why Chevy drives the Motor City.
We build roads, bridges, wind farms, and pipelines, schools to skyscrapers. Our members create monuments. We operate. We're the operators and mechanics behind the advanced heavy machines that move Michigan forward. We maintain boilers and HVAC. Our members run the complex heating and cooling systems that we all depend on. Our training is second to none, and safety is our priority. We are Operating Engineers 324, and we keep Michigan running.
Colin Ledbetter now taking over on the mound for the Westside Woolly Mammoths here tonight. There he is. Ledbetter checking into play here today, looking for his 11th appearance. 10 2/3 innings thus far, 9 walks to 12 strikeouts. Two-seam fastball, a slider, and a changeup used very sparingly out of the bullpen, mostly for Ledbetter. Have to go back to July 11th to see his last outing, an inning and 2/3. Gave up a pair of runs, just one of them earned, and 34 pitches of work that night. Well, we say hello to Jen Carr, Phil, Ella Young, Wendell Perry, Archie Carr, Tim Ruthenberg, Jen Carr here tonight, all chiming in on the chat, both on Facebook and YouTube again here tonight.
Hello to all of you, and happy to have you.
Sure are. Would love to have you tomorrow or see you in person. USPBL.com for tickets. We hear the tickets are going fast tomorrow. If they're many available at all, as this one is skied, but wow. A lot closer maybe than people thought, as Galassi just lands that one to the left of the 315 sign and the foul pole there. Fan quickly snatches that up. That might be worth something someday if Galassi elevates himself up to the next ranks.
Certainly all you have to do now is get the signature.
Or one of those home runs he's hit, probably worth a bit.
Yeah.
That 91-mile-an-hour fastball is pounded back.
It was just a tad earlier on the one that just sweeped by the left field foul pole. Yeah, that would have been gone.
Fastball 64% of the time for Ledbetter out of the pen. It can reach as high as 94. Pretty much 91 consistently. Gets a lot of swings on that slider. And he ramps up there as well. Quickly 0-2 on Drew Galassi, trying to battle back here. Reached on an error in the third, popped out in the fifth, and popped out back in the first as well. Slider low. Jeremy Otto alongside Nick Matthews to bring you the call here tonight. Dylan, our director, Maddie, our producer. Everybody working the cameras tonight as well. On the ground to the right side, Navarro. For the first out here in the seventh.
It's good footwork over there from Navarro. Get into position and throw out Galassi. Now Colby Johnson getting his appearance.
Well, it's a 2-1 effort. Just 3 hits on the board. The Mammoths have actually out-hit the Unicorns here today by 3, 6-3. 2 runs off 3 hits and 1 error for the Corns. 1 run off 6 hits and 2 errors on the other side for the Mammoths. First pitch slider pumps in for strike 1 on Colby Johnson. Unicorns have wreaked a bit more havoc on the base pass with the walk opportunities. A lot of them against the guy who just doesn't walk batters. He doubled his walk total here tonight to Greg Loke.
Honestly, it could be with the score with all those walk opportunities, and it's been a good job by this Mammoth defense to keep him off home.
Lokinen picking up some key strikeouts with that set as well. He had the bases loaded with just 1 out in the 4th. He struck out Luska and Childress, the top 2 in the order. Then had a 2-out walk in the 5th and struck out Nick Olch to retire the side. And then runners on first and second with 1 out. Got a strikeout to Luska and a ground out to Childress. So certainly some credit still deserved to Lokinen. I'm sure with all the things we've talked about here tonight, him wanting to get ahead in the count more, those things he won't be happy with. But it's how you handle adversity too in this level of baseball. Can be a big key to if you're projectable or not going forward. The 1-2, reach for it. Under the glove of Ledbetter, he recovers. Doesn't panic. We've seen pitchers, not necessarily today or in the past here, but they run to the baseball, maybe they bobble, and then they just chuck it. It's like they've never thrown a ball before, but that's obviously not the case. But Ledbetter handled it with charm for the 2nd out here in the 7th. And now the 5th place batter is the last shot here, Anthony Jones.
Jones driving in one of those 2 Unicorns runs today. Actually his first RBI of the season too.
Back-to-back first pitch sliders here for Colin Ledbetter to 4 and 5 in the order as Jones looks at strike 1. He's off to a 4 for 27 start. Rip to the gap in left center field. Bauer cuts it off. That for the 3rd out here in the 7th. All contact for Colin Ledbetter here. Does a nice job to get out of this fairly quickly, though, and keep the score right where it is, as it's time for your Genesis Credit Union 7th inning stretch here today. And take me out to the ball game, as always, on the USPBL network. Will be a little bit later than the in-stadium crowd here today, so we'll have to battle them a bit. But ready to go now. Here we go, Nick. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack. I don't care if I never get back, for it's root for the home team. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. Your Genesis Credit Union 7th inning stretch finds the Mammoths down 2-1. We'll see if they can change that when we get back here on the USPBL network.
There's nothing better than a ball game at Jimmy John's Field and a cold beer from Midland Brewing Company. Hi, I'm Kyle, the head brewer at Midland Brewing Company, here to wish you a stellar time making memories at Jimmy John's Field. And we hope that you're living it up with a Copper Harbor Ale in your cup. You can find more of our selections here at the ballpark and around town at your favorite bottle shops too. We hope you have a ball at the game, and remember, enjoy responsibly. Let's play ball.
Welcome back to Jimmy John's Field, everyone. Heart of the order up for the Mammoths this time around. Trent Bauer and Herring, Adrian Guzman, brought to you by Zach Hart Agency.
Trent Bauer certainly having a great day at the plate today in both games.
Yeah, he's looking for the combined cycle. A triple away from that, has a double and a single here tonight. Home run in game 1, a diving catch in left. And a key moment for his team as well.
Proving himself on both sides of the field.
Average starting to perk up as well. 289 coming into play here in game 2. Childress over to Carr, and a lot of PFP here today. Herring has also slotted himself a double. He thought that may be the tying run back in the 4th inning, with Bauer rounding third in the end. Lamar Briggs had already scored, but Drew Galassi and Frankie Luska, as we've talked about on multiple occasions so far here tonight, after the fact, was able to cut down the runner coming home to end that 4th inning and squander what could have been even a larger rally. First pitch slider off the plate outside to Logan Herring now. Oh, 1 away. Carr, in terms of the average spin rates, is right up there as some of the best in the league, averaging around 2,500 on his curveball. Slider before that one around 2,400. 2-0 off the knob of the bat, and it hit him as well, unfortunately, but that's a strike for Logan Herring the hard way.
That was a lose-lose scenario. Get hit, and a strike on top of you. Tough break for Herring.
Two-one curveball remains high. That wind has tamed himself a bit in right center field. Still blowing the American flag at a decent click, but nothing compared to where we were pregame and for the first pair of innings. That could have been a sign of some of the weather maybe moving out. The sky's kind of darkened as first pitch was getting ready to commence, as Hodo shovels to Childress. Quickly 2 up and 2 down, but we maintained our bubble, which has been broken quite a bit so far this year.
Yeah, as of lately, yeah.
Just all throughout the area, though.
Yeah.
You look at all the rain that's fallen.
The heat has still been able to stick around because of the humidity. It's still 78 out.
Yeah, that's been a constant for, it seems like, 3-4 weeks in a row now. Most days. I think tomorrow it's barely going to reach 70, which is going to be a bit odd. Luska pulls that one in for strike 1. So Frankie Luska again back out there catching. I believe this is the 3rd game in a row we'll see Luska Finney, the backup, that's a hot shot quickly to Hodo. Harder play than it looked as he had to play the short hop, but he does it well. 1, 2, 3 breeze for Jordan Carr. He's breezing through this game as well. Low pitch count and all. His team has a 2-1 lead.
First State Bank is a locally owned and operated business. We're part of your community. At fsbcares.com, you'll find ways that we're making a difference by featuring locally owned and operated businesses, providing access to helpful financial resources, and engaging with community. fsbcares.com is part of our commitment to the neighborhood because strong neighbors mean stronger communities. Where good neighbors do great things. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
I'm all out of love for my old insurance. Switch to insurance. They're saving me so much. They covered my car and bundled with my home. I feel so secure to say I love insurance.
Hello, AAA Insurance.
Goodbye, insurance. Hello.
Insurance.
Get a quote and save up to 20%.
Second inning of work here for Colin Ledbetter. 1-2-3 inning for him in the 7th. Marks 5 straight recorded by him and Lokinen combined. Greg Lokinen getting his pitch count up a bit early. Probably seeing Ledbetter maybe an inning or so earlier than the Mammoths would have liked, but nonetheless, he's out there and did a nice job in the 7th.
He was utilizing his defense, which is exactly what you want to do. Coming in relief, get all the options open, and you have that ability because they haven't seen many of your pitches so far.
Defense behind Ledbetter here today. It's Bauer in left, Briggs in center, McKinley in right, Smith and Herring in the corners, Navarro and Guzman up the middle with Caruso. We'll complete that warm-up with the throw down to second base. Ledbetter will face 6, 7, 8 in the Unicorns lineup, brought to you by Zach Hart Agency here today. It's Nick Olch, Donovan Curiel, and Malik Blaze. We had a first pitch today of 7:10. We have hit 9 o'clock. So still a decent ways away from the time limit thus far.
With the speediness of this game that's been going on so far, I wouldn't be surprised if we got all 9 in.
On the ground to Guzman. 1 up and 1 down here.
Ledbetter continuing to use his defense. Guzman over to Herring for the quick out. Now Curiel stepping in.
Donovan had a walk back in the 4th. First pitch to slider low. That's now 3 first pitch sliders for Colin Ledbetter since taking over for Lokinen in the 7th. Fastball high at 90. We've seen it as much as 91 so far here tonight, as much on the season as 94. Looks like there's some action in the Utica bullpen for the first time here tonight. 2-0, big rip by Curiel as he lifts it foul. Malik Blaze on deck, brought to you by Zach Hart Agency. Then it will be John Hodo. Those two combined have reached 3 times tonight. Most Unicorns have. At least a couple times. They just have not been able to cash in on most of those base runners so far.
Solid defense has been prohibiting many runs today, and we kind of predicted that early in our pregame. It was supposed to be a pitcher's duel, and it turns out it was. So we were right on our 50-50 guess.
2-2 on the ground foul. It's looks like Miguel Sereno and for sure Jack Ferguson warming up in the pen here. What a story that Sereno has been so far this year. Done a good job really in all roles, out of the bullpen, starting. His starts have been more so opener roles for the most part when he has been out there. 2-2, another slider, same result. Curiel on top of that one a bit more.
All Curiel needs to do is just sit back on it a little bit, and he's got himself a double right down the line.
Smith trying to tuck himself a bit more towards the third base bag. That is actually not Jalen Smith anymore. It's Spencer McGee who has quietly taken over at third base here. 2-2, back towards us and probably banged off a window of one of the suites. So Herring still at first. And actually Smith moved to second. And Guzman still at short. So I wonder if there's something wrong with Norberto Navarro.
I did see him limping off the field in his last at bat. He might have a pulled hamstring or even a strained calf muscle.
Jalen Smith has mostly played third base this year for the Mammoths, but in his time in the USPBL last year really shown that he could kind of be a utility infield, play all over on the diamond. 2-2, heavy dose of slider as he tries to get Curiel, and each time he's just a little bit late on it. Tina Marie Schneider checks in on Facebook and says hello from Kentucky. We want to welcome anybody else watching from many states that we collect on each broadcast. Now that's banged off the foot of Curiel, one of the best at-bats we have seen so far here tonight, just in terms of sheer length.
Curiel showing he can go the distance as well and finding a pitch that he wants, and he'll eventually take it out into play. That one he was just a tad late on it.
The opposite way. Six-3 ground out by Nick Olch. Seems like an attorney to go all of a sudden here at the beginning of the eighth. Colin Ledbetter trying to continue what's been a decent string of outs for the Mammoths on the pitching side of late. And again, that one's going to reach into the crowd over there. And it looks like a really nice catch from the sound of the crowd. A few standing O's for that fan over there. He's just calmly sitting back in the seat. Yeah. I caught that.
This is a 10-plus pitch at bat for Donovan Curiel.
And not necessarily what the Mammoths were hoping for to see with Colin Ledbetter in. Again, they really only wanted to use Lokinen and Ledbetter here today. Not sure what the cap on Colin would be pitch-wise. 2-2, finally won the battle.
Excellent, excellent at bat for Donovan Curiel. Racking up the pitch count from Ledbetter and eventually driving a single right back up the middle to get on base. An excellent performance there from Donovan.
And you just wonder, after an at-bat like that, and I think Caruso may be trying to just settle down and give Ledbetter a break, what the next at-bats could unfold into being. I'd say maybe you have a bit of a break here with 8-9 up, but they've reached a combined 3 times already in 6 at-bats, including a double and a single, a walk into that mix as well.
Now through the Unicorns' bottom of the lineup, 8-9 hitters, a good way to throw off the groove, I guess. Throw off the groove for all the Emperor's New Groove fans out there. It would definitely be a change of pace for the Unicorn lineup, as not just the front of the lineup that's producing, but also the back end as well. And that could also be a momentum shifter too.
Good swing by Malik Blaze his first time up, or his last time up, I beg your pardon. A double. There's another good rip of a swing to left field. Bauer is under it, though, for the second out.
Excellent hack from Malik Blaze, and you can't be mad at it. Now it's John Hodo's turn.
John Hodo, single and a walk and back-to-back at-bats. Dips in a first pitch slider. Strike one here on second baseman again tonight for Jim Essian's team. Pretty much started most games at second base. It was mostly him and Malik Blaze up the middle last year, playing a bit more third base as the year has gone on, with how good that Curiel has handled that shortstop position. Decent lead for Donovan over there. 0-2, high chop, could be trouble. McGee cuts it off. His first play tonight is dazzling for the third out in the 8th inning. Mammoths hanging on by a thread in this game. They'd love to get the bats going. 7, 8, 9 coming up next.
As your neighbor who works at Ascension, Michigan, and a cardiologist who's practiced for more than 20 years, I'm going to keep asking, how are you feeling today? Your care can't wait. Getting care sooner can mean catching things before they get worse. At Ascension, Michigan, our ERs and our hospitals and other sites of care are maintaining strict precautions for your safety. Studies have shown that people will get care sooner if they're encouraged by their doctors, family, and friends. Get the care you need at getascensionmichigancare.com.
At Fifth Third Bank, we're working hard to make banking a Fifth Third better. With free checking and fraud protection services, 166.7% is possible.
166.7.
This is banking, a Fifth Third better.
You hear about the promo that Jimmy's John's got going on? 5 off 20? How they pulling it off? Magic?
You got David's Copperfields in there? Show yourself, Copperfields!
Jimmy John's. $5 off orders of 20 or more.
Jack Ferguson takes over for Jordan Carr, who went a solid 7 here today. Fastball, slider, changeup for Jack Ferguson, who comes from beneath. A change of pace for these hitters here today. Also, certainly a change in velocity as well. Carr's fastball tapered off a bit as the game went on, but that combined with what Ferguson brings should make an interesting navigation for Jalen Smith, Nick Caruso, and Trevor McKinley here.
Jalen Smith reaching base on both of his at-bats so far. Let's see if he can keep it up and reach base for the third time today.
And obviously, the motion is extremely tough on left-handers, and it's no mistake that both McKinley, or just McKinley, I beg your pardon, at the bottom of the lineup is a lefty. Trent Bauer and Herring in the middle. Well, lefties are a combined 0 for 8 off Jack Ferguson so far in a smaller sample size, as he's still trying to get his feet wet in his second year, coming late to the USPBL this year. Righties are 4 for 10. They have hit a double off of Jack so far. Hasn't always been this way for Ferguson. When he was one of the better pitchers at Madonna University, he was coming kind of at a 3/4 arm slot, throwing at a much harder clip, but he thought this was his best chance at pitching at the next level by dropping down here, and certainly got him a spot in the USPBL. He was tinkering with this with his college coaches, even though he did not play out another year in the end because of COVID-19 last year. 0-1 to Curiel. A bit of trouble, but if you batted an eye, you missed it as he covered it up pretty well. 6-3 to begin the 8th.
That ground ball was smoked over to Curiel. Solid piece of hitting by Smith, but unfortunately is right to the shortstop to get the quick out.
6 straight outs, including that 5-6-3 double play to end the 6th inning. Pounds a 86-mile-an-hour fastball in for strike 1.
Caruso line out, fly out in his last 2 appearances. This time trying to get something going here late in the game for the Mammoths.
0-1 away. Trevor McKinley, the aforementioned lefty, your Zach Hart agency man on deck here in the 8th. One, another fairly hard hit ball. Curiel deep in the gap to close that one off. 2 up and 2 down.
Another solid play from the shortstop over there, the sure hand. Bring up Trevor McKinley to round out the order.
8 through 9 have yet to record a hit so far today for this Mammoths lineup. McKinley 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a ground out. Norberto Navarro, the scheduled hitter, but he will not hit if things extend in the 8th.
Looks to be Spencer McGee taking his place.
He was out there defensively as well, made the last out of the last half inning. Slider away from Ferguson there, 1-1 on McKinley now. Galassi, Trevor in a bit in center, but dead on right behind the second base bag. Everybody else fairly straight up with 2 outs and nobody on in the infield and the outfield here. And lefties are now 0 for 9 for 2 strikeouts versus Jack Ferguson this year. 1-2-3 inning, the second in a row for Carr and Jack Ferguson. And these Unicorns are looking to close it out. Freaky Fast Facts presented by Jimmy John's. Randy Dobnak theme here today on his bobblehead night. He was former USPBL standout, signed by the Minnesota Twins in 2017. Also made his MLB debut on August 9th, 2019 against the Cleveland Indians, throwing 4 innings with 3 strikeouts and a 0 ERA. And he's from Pittsburgh. We learned that from his dad earlier today as well. So good stuff. Your Jimmy John's Freaky Fast Facts here today. Just a great story. Go read some of the articles that were produced about him as he made the major leagues. Hope to see him back on the field again soon. Hit the injured list with a middle finger injury. More on him and this night after this on the USPBL Network. Colin Ledbetter out there for his 3rd inning of work. Just a single separates him from a single, or from a perfect, I should say, 2 innings of work here tonight. All of his outs have been recorded via the contact in several different ways, but he's looked good so far tonight.
He'll face the top of the Unicorns order in the top of the 9th. Luxa looks at a ball just outside.
Here's the 1-0. Crowded him in. Another slider. Well, quite the battle with Donovan Curiel in the 8th with 1 out for Colin Ledbetter. We unfortunately don't have the total, but as Nick mentioned, got to be above 10 pitches, more towards 15. Curiel winning that with a single. Again, he is the only base runner given up by Colin Ledbetter so far, and it will continue to be that way. Well, Childress trying to break an 0 for 3 in his last couple ABs. Had a walk back in the first inning. First pitch, kind of fought that one off the end of the bat. Again, we'd love to see you here tomorrow. Some Friday fireworks. USPBL.com for tickets. You can show up potentially at the gate, but from what we hear, it's going to be close to a sellout. This one punched past the diving glove of Guzman and into left. So the Unicorns looking to add some padding runs with their best hitter up in Drew Galassi. Has yet to record a hit here in game 2 of the day for him. Had a RBI on a flyout earlier today. Plated 1 of 4 runs for the Unicorns. It was a 9-4 on Kids Day at 11:30 a.m. start. One of the earliest starts you'll see.
That's been one of the keys to the game for the Mammoths, to keeping Drew Galassi off the base path, and they've been successful in doing that so far. And let's see if they can keep it up here with a runner on first here in the top of the 9th.
Here's the 0-1. Again, lifted foul. Just chatting with John Dombrowski, one of the co-managers of the Westside Woolly Mammoths, as Galassi breaks his bat. He'll have to get some new lumber here, but not only does John work exclusively with the Mammoths, but he's also kind of a development guy in the league and kind of floats around in between teams, especially on some of the practice days and the optional workouts that happen at the beginning of the week. But he just said, you know, just the sound off this guy's bat, the way it traveled, similar to his co-manager, Taylor Jellikowski. He saw him play here and go through the system, obviously. He said just a different breed of hitter. You could tell he's not just like anybody else here. The 0-2, good eye there at a 91-mile-an-hour tempting fastball, 1-2.
Solid layoff from Drew Galassi, and he's got now a pitcher's count on him. See what he does with it.
Takes the slider low. That's one thing that really has maintained pretty consistency in this one. Fastball 90, 91, slider right around 79 each time. Short lead for Childress over at first. That one pinned just outside. Fastball at 89 that time around.
Caruso doing some good framework, trying to get the call. Well, too, now the count goes to full.
The 3-2. Got him on the slider. Big time out for Colin Ledbetter here in the 9th.
That was huge, absolutely monumental. Now they'll face Colby Johnson with 2 outs and a little bit more manageable, keeping Drew off the base path.
Colby Johnson has reached twice today, both because of the fielder's choice. At bats in the first and third. A long time ago, he scored the game's second run for the Unicorns. That was off an error that allowed Anthony Jones to reach third base in the end. Just a play in the infield that could have recorded the inning's third out. Not so. Skip past Logan Herring. You see him over there at first. Extensive foul territory down the first and third base lines allow that to happen. Here's the 1-1 slider. Hot potato as it takes a high bounce to McGee. Second inning in a row where he records the final out. In the 8th and the 9th, and this Mammoths team gives them one more chance to try to take the lead or tie this game in the bottom of the 9th inning, trying to break what is a 8-out streak for Jack Ferguson and Jordan Carr combined. Can they do it? We'll see. Brandon Krenrich trying to earn another save for the Utica Unicorns here tonight. Comes in relief of Jack Ferguson, who relieved Jordan Carr, who went 7 strong. So Carr scattering 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 base runners here tonight. Had some key strikeouts early for a total of 4. Make it 5, actually. Krenrich will face the top of the order. McGee, Horner, Briggs. And not a bad spot. You don't want to see Norberto Navarro go down, obviously, for a number of reasons, because he's the cog to the center of the diamond for you defensively, and also he's been so good at the plate lately as well. 2 for 3 earlier, was 0 for 3 in this one, but came off hobbled, we think, after his last at-bat in the 6th. But McGee's got some pop. He could take this game and turn it around and tie things 9th if things go right.
He'd be certainly looked at as a hero if he had a pinch hit, base hit, home run. Nothing too fancy.
Something like that. Spencer McGee this year, 1 home run. He's driven in 7. His 14th appearance on the diamond this year for the Mammoths. 1-1. Fastball that slices low, 93 twice so far here today for Brandon Krenrich. Him and Jack Ferguson have split time in the closing role thus far. Has 1 save to his credit. His 12th game here tonight. Looking to lift and separate there. Can't catch up with the changeup. The slider, I beg your pardon. The slider thrown nearly as much as the 2 and 4-seam fastball combined. He throws the 4-seam 34% of the time and the 2-seam 15% of the time. And there is Rick Dobnak one more time over at first base. Fans giving him a hard time after he couldn't handle that one. Rick, the fine father of Randy Dobnak, on his bobblehead night, driving up from Pennsylvania. Glad to have him in the house. Caught up with him earlier in the bottom of the 4th inning here on the USP. Exactly the way that McGee and the Mammoths wanted to start things here in the 9th.
And there it is, a little pinch hit. Now let's see if Colton Horner can do the same.
Horner, a pair of singles. Can keep this locomotion going in the 9th. Trent Bauer is due up a couple batters from now.
Horner having a good day at the plate. He's 2 for 3. He's got a pair of singles.
Very short lead for McGee, being the tying runner in this game. First pitch slider there from Krenrich fouled off. 7:05 Eastern, tomorrow's game. Love to have you for that one. 6:50 pregame show on the USPBL network. Actually 7 o'clock, I beg your pardon, on a Friday. Here's the 0-1. Different pregame times for a lot of different days. Have to get used to those.
Owen 2 now on Horner.
The pitch. Fly ball to left field, hugging the foul pole. It's going to tuck fair down the line. No! They rule foul. My goodness. Taylor Jellikowski down the third base line had a great view of it, and he doesn't quite agree with the call. That looked like it splashed just to the right or even on the line as a fair ball.
Some controversy spewing here. And the Mammoth bench doesn't like that call. Neither do some of the fans.
So Horner still has to hit here. Runner on first, no outs. 2-1 game in favor of the Unicorns. The 0-2, swing and a miss. What a swing of events for Brandon Krenrich. Probably bailed out here early in the 9th inning. That's for the first out, but still some tough hitters to navigate. So tomorrow it's the Hoppers and the Mammoths. Then on Saturday, a doubleheader between the Unicorns and the Beavers. Sunday, Mammoths, Hoppers. So these two teams getting a wealth of what is quite a few games. The hitters should be happy. Can be tough for them to only play a couple, max 3 games usually in a week to really get a feel. 92-mile-an-hour fastball in there for strike one. For that very reason, you're facing 92 and only playing maybe a couple days a week.
Certainly favors the pitcher in that aspect, but over these next few days, the hitters might turn on the jets here and get them bats moving.
Wipeout slider. Don't see Lamar Briggs take a swing like that very often.
He knows he's got the game on the line, so he wants to be a little bit more aggressive, especially with a runner on first. One big swing can win it.
4 home runs this year for Briggs. The 0-2. Again, just got a piece at the end of the bat on that slider there. Trent Bauer would be next. The way he's hitting, he might even be more of a unfavorable matchup than this man at the plate, who's been extremely hot as well. Came in slugging .625.
He's been hitting very well lately. He's 2 for 3 today.
0-2, broken bat, doesn't matter. It's a base hit. Sends Spencer McGee to second. Now the winning run comes to the plate.
That bat will now go down as a hero.
Trent Bauer, you see that flag is very limp in right center field. It wasn't earlier when he hit the home run right around that area. Blowing at a pretty decent clip out there, in fact. We'll see what he can do here. That home run, his first of the year. Really put the game out of reach. Mammoths won 9-4 in a game that had a first pitch of 11:30 a.m. Eastern time. First pitch to Bauer, the slider that slithers in for strike one.
Trent Bauer has a chance to be a hero. He's got runners on first and second, one in scoring position. A hit to the outfield will score Spencer McGee, that's on second base right now.
And late time granted to Trent Bauer here. The cat and mouse game. Leadoff single McGee on second base, the strikeout to Horner. One out single to Briggs, stay first. Here's the 0-1 on the ground, first base side. Childress thinks about second base, thinks better of it, and gets the lead runner over at first. So both do advance. The winning run now to second base. And here comes Logan Herring.
Herring has a chance here to win it for the Mammoths or even just tie and go into extras. All he has to do is just put one in play past the fielders and score the run.
We've talked about in the past, Logan Herring, a big power threat in college. 20 home runs this year at the NAI level. Took a month off before heading to professional baseball. Thought his career was over, as this 91-mile-an-hour fastball is in for strike one. Coaching staff really think his at-bats are getting better and better as this professional year unfolds for him. Big moment from right here. Here's the 0-1. Fly ball hanging up there in left center. Anthony Jones is under it. Bingo for the third out as Krenrich nails down his second save of the year. Nice way to end it and strand a pair of singles in the ninth inning. And on Randy Dobnak, bobblehead day, it's fitting that his Unicorns win here tonight in a fairly tight 2-1 game. We'll have our Rochester University player of the game following a few breaks here in our Autolab postgame show. Nick will interview that player when we get back here on the USPBL Network. Stick with us.
If I hit a home run, then you know what's going out of the park. Yeah, bases loaded, we ain't letting up. Scoring back to back, you can count it up. United we stand together, divided we fall. Ain't no turning back, we done came too far to turn around and have a seat now. We don't compare, cause we unicorn. Illuminate the dark with my uniform. Every time you see me stand up and salute me. It ain't no competition, not even from you. If I hit a home run, then you know what's going out of the park. Yeah, bases loaded, we ain't letting up. Scoring back to back, you can count it up. United we stand together, divided we fall. Ain't no turning back, we done came too far to turn around and have a seat now. We don't compare, cause we unicorns. Illuminate the dark with my uniform. time you see me, stand up and salute me. It ain't no competition, not even from you.
Attention, Michigan, there is absolutely no need to drive all over town searching for new flooring. When the Carpet Guys will come to your house on your schedule, we'll bring our store to your door so you can shop in the comfort and privacy of your own home. And you'll love our huge selection. Buy right now with interest-free financing for up to 4 years. You can carpet your entire home for as little as $11.99 per month. Let the Carpet Guys take the stress out of buying new flooring. Call for a free in-house shopping experience today.
Be wise, call the Carpet Guys at 855 for my guys.
As your neighbor who works at Ascension, Michigan, and a cardiologist who's practiced for more than 20 years, I'm going to keep asking, how are you feeling today? Your care can't wait. Getting care sooner can mean catching things before they get worse. At Ascension, Michigan, our ERs and our hospitals and other sites of care are maintaining strict precautions for your safety. Studies have shown that people will get care sooner if they're encouraged by their doctors, family, and friends. Get the care you need at getascensionmichigancare.com.
Check your checking. If your account doesn't get you pumped, amped, or geeked, make the switch to Genius Checking from Genesis Credit Union. It's just genius.
Switch to insurance. They're saving me so much. They covered my car and bundled with my home. I feel so secure to say I love insurance.
Hello, AAA Insurance.
Goodbye, insurance. Hello.
Insurance.
Get a quote and save up to 20%.
They call me Prospects. Since the day I was born as a diver's watch, the challengers of the world have taught me many things. Life is not a numbers game. It's about challenging ourselves. No matter what happens, just follow your heart. These pioneers drive our generation forward. Not by setting records, but by never giving up. Keep going forward. Prospects.
Available at Lucido Fine Jewelry.
Dunham Sports is a proud partner of the USPBL. Big names, low prices, delivering value since 1937.
Check your checking. If your account doesn't get you pumped, amped, or geeked, make the switch to Genius Checking from Genesis Credit Union. It's just genius.
I'm all in with HR and Organizational Development Council.
I'm all in with Marketing and Business Development Council.
I'm all in with Operations and Member Experience Council.
I'm all in with CEO Council.
I'm all in with Lending Council.
I'm all in with CFO Council.
I'm all in with Technology Council.
Our credit union is all in with CUNA councils.
You hear about the promo that Jimmy's John's got going on? 5 off 20? How they pulling it off? Magic?
You got David's Copperfields in there? Show yourself, Copperfields!
Jimmy John's. $5 off orders of 20 or more.
Attention, Michigan, there is absolutely no need to drive all over town searching for new flooring. When the carpet guys will come to your house on your schedule, we'll bring our store to your door so you can shop in the comfort and privacy of your own home. And you'll love our huge selection. Buy right now with interest-free financing for up to 4 years. You can carpet your entire home for as little as $11.99 per month. Let the carpet guys take the stress out of buying new flooring. Call for a free in-house shopping experience today.
Be wise, call the carpet guys at 855 for my guys.
Only at your Chevrolet certified service dealer do you get tires engineered specifically for your vehicle and a price match guarantee.
With our tire price match guarantee, if you find a better price within 30 days of purchase, we'll refund the difference. Put it in D and see why Chevy drives the Motor City.
They call me Prospects. Since the day I was born as a diver's watch, the challengers of the world have taught me many things. Life is not a numbers game. It's about challenging ourselves. No matter what happens, just follow your heart. These pioneers drive our generation forward. Not by setting records, but by never giving up. Keep going forward. Prospects.
Available at Lucido Fine Jewelry.
Hi, I'm Nick Matthews alongside Jordan Carr, our player of the game tonight here on Randy Dobnik Bobblehead Night. Jordan, an impressive start today. You went 7 innings, only giving up 1 run and 4 strikeouts. How did it feel? What was working for you today?
Felt pretty good. I think all my pitches were working pretty well. I thought I kept them off balance pretty well. That's kind of what I pride myself on. So that was working for me, and just mixing pitches and keeping them off balance, worked out well.
Keeping them off balance certainly helped today, and your defense showing them that they can also perform too, right behind you, turning 2 double plays. How did that feel?
That's a great feeling. It makes my job easy when they make those plays like that. So I know if I can fill it up and they can make those plays, it'll be a good game most of the time.
Makes you look good too, man. On top of that, Randy Dobnik night, we spoke to Rick Dobnik, his father, during the game, and he said that Randy's favorite team growing up was the Pittsburgh Pirates. Did you have a favorite childhood team, or if you had a favorite childhood player, who was it?
My favorite team growing up probably would be the Baltimore Orioles. It's a hometown team. Favorite player, I'd say Cliff Lee with the Phillies. So it was a good time to watch him.
I loved Cliff Lee growing up too. Well, it was awesome catching up with you, Jordan. You had an impressive start. Keep it up. Keep the ball rolling. And it was a pleasure to see you again. I'm Nick Matthews with Jordan Carr, our player of the game on Randy Dobnik Bobblehead Night.